everybody, and welcome to this new moon video for the new moon of the 29th of November 2016. The moon will be new during this lunation cycle in Jyeshta Nakshatra, and the exactitude of the new moon takes place at about 18 minutes past noon UK time. Of course, you can look up online to find out when that is in your particular time zone. So I want to talk to you today about getting your own back, taking care of yourself, and how sometimes we can become so concerned or maybe even obsessed with taking care of ourselves that we actually get in the way of doing that very thing, right? Mainly because we're not paying attention to what's going on beneath the surface and not really seeing things clearly. Because let's face it, anything that we obsess upon is going to distract our focus from being aware, right? Being aware is something that with practice, right, happens naturally, right? At the moment that we become obsessed or our desire becomes attached to something, that's the moment on many levels that our judgment becomes clouded. And because of factors that are connected to this particular new moon, there's a part of you that really wants to be self-directed in relation to something and wants to take a very powerful, strong action because you want to respect the contents of what's in here. You want to do what's right by yourself, right? But as you reflect back on a previous moment, you can't be really sure if your judgment is clouded. And a part of you might be deeply concerned that you're being led off on somewhat of a wild goose chase, thinking that you're doing the right thing by yourself, when in reality, you're actually getting in your own way, right? So what needs to happen? What can be done in order to help with this particular situation, right? Well, on one level, here are things you need to watch out for. Are you trying to attract attention to yourself by your actions? Or are you doing what feels natural inside of your heart, right? Are you so focused on really watching out for what you feel are your ethics to the extent that you are sacrificing another part of your ethics? That's another thing you might want to take care of. And let's face it, there's something new that's evolving for you in the moment. There's a new awareness that's surfacing. And when that happens, there's always this part of you that's back here while the other part is going in this direction, right? And sometimes when we're holding on to something from back here, we can't be fully here, right? And although I'm never a big fan of telling people to let go of something, because letting go is something that just naturally happens. And after all, we're talking about what's in here today, right? So letting go is something that just naturally happens over time. But you need to allow for that time to happen before you take any radical steps in the moment, because radical steps taken in the moment based on a part of you that's not really clear about where you really sit with something, it's only going to lead you to a state of confusion or to a lack of direction in the future, right? So what you really need to do is to spend some time with the present moment. Your judgment on one level is clouded. Why is that judgment clouded? Because you're feeling a lot of passion. You're feeling a lot of desire. And one part of you really wants to bring some resolution to a particular set of circumstances. Why? Well, because you feel it's your duty to do so, right? But whenever karma comes in, I should say kama, I was talking about kama because I wanted to bring the concept of desire into it, but not karma, so to speak, but whenever kama or desire or our passion interferes with dharma, then there's a problem. Then there is a lack of clarity. Then we think that we see things one way, when in actuality, we're not really seeing things clearly. And this particular new moon has an air of confusion or chaos to it. Beneath the surface, what's happening is a newly evolving sense of values, a different way of seeing things in one particular area of your life that's going to give weight or impulse or direction to your future course of action. But in order for that to do so in the clearest manner possible, you really need to take your time with a particular decision. Now, obviously, this is going to affect everybody in a different area of their life, dependent upon where this new moon is falling in your chart. So if you could use a little bit of help with whatever might be servicing in your life, leading up to the new moon, or even away from the new moon, or even way, way far in the future, please feel free to schedule one of my astrological services through the astrological services link that is at the bottom of the page. That's going to do it for the look at the new moon of the 29th of November, 2016. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.